I was brushing my teeth the other day, as I do, twice a day, every day, and I was bored, so as one tends to do when they're bored in the bathroom, I was reading the information on the bottle. So I was reading the tube of toothpaste as I was brushing my teeth, and I noted that it stated that it was sugar-free, and I thought that were a little odd. Well, sugar's bad for our teeth. Why would a toothpaste need to clarify that it's sugar-free? Wouldn't that be counterproductive? Then I also got wondering, why is sugar bad for our teeth? Like, I know it's bad for our teeth, but why? What makes it bad for our teeth? So today we're going to talk about that. Good dental hygiene is essential if we want to keep our teeth and mouth healthy and keep all of our teeth in our mouth. And the quest for a clean mouth can be traced back as far as 3000 BC with the ancient Egyptians, where there is evidence that people in Egypt were producing a paste out of oxen hooves, pumice, eggshells, myrrh, and water. The idea, we suppose, was that the coarse ingredients would help to get rid of any leftover food in the mouth, and the perfumes would make it smell nicer. There's also evidence of the ancient Chinese using ground up fish bones for a similar purpose, as well as ancient Romans and Greece grinding up animal bones to do a similar thing. During the Middle Ages, people in the Middle East were experimenting with using fine sand to wash out anything in their mouths. There's people in Europe who were using table salt to do a similar thing. And in Europe in the 18th century, some people might have even used burnt bits of bread to wash out anything from within their mouth. Notice that toothpaste had still not been invented. They were just putting these ingredients in their mouth, sloshing them around and spitting them out. Also, none of these early dental pastes contained soap. Toothbrushes were probably invented by the Chinese around the 15th century using wood and natural bristles, which were often animal hairs. These were taken from China to Europe, and Europeans used things like horse hairs and even feathers as bristles. The first modern toothbrush design came about in around 1780 when William Addis used a cow bone, carved it into what we know as a toothbrush shape, and added pig hairs as the bristles. Notice how even with the toothbrush, there was still no toothpaste that contained soap. That didn't come around until a little bit later. In 1824, a dentist named Peabody, and we don't have any more information about him or his name, added soap to his toothpaste. But this idea wasn't widely available for another 50 years or so, not until Colgate started selling their commercially available toothpaste that had soap in it. It was certainly nicer smelling than what had preceded it, and came in a jar. In 1892, Dr. Washington Sheffield thought that putting your toothbrush in the jar where everybody else's toothbrushes had gone wasn't super hygienic. And so he was the first one to put toothpaste in a tube where you could squeeze it out without putting your toothbrush inside it. Over the 20th century, lots of other developments were made, including the addition of fluoride, which greatly reduces the risk of cavities or holes in the teeth, the invention of edible toothpaste, and toothpaste that was designed to whiten teeth. And of course, the invention of nylon meant that we no longer had to use animal hairs for the bristles of the toothbrushes. But this didn't happen until the 1930s when nylon was developed. Brushing our teeth is really important, but why? Well, when we eat, food comes in contact with our teeth. Of course, that's what teeth are for. And in contemporary times, we typically eat a lot of soft foods that contain sugar. Sugar is a simple form of carbohydrate, which is really easy for a range of organisms to digest, including us, and including the bacteria that lives in our mouths. If there is sugar in our mouth, over time, the bacteria in our mouths will eat it and breed. But is that what's bad for our teeth? This is bad for our teeth, but why? Do the bacteria eat at our teeth? Well, no. Teeth are made largely of calcium phosphate, which offers no nutritional benefit to bacteria. Just because you live in your house doesn't mean you want to eat the walls. The bacteria are in our mouths to eat the sugar that's left over. They don't eat our teeth. But as they eat or consume the sugar, there is a chemical reaction going on which is causing acid to be produced. And that acid is bad for our teeth. It's a bit like if when we ate, we also shot acid everywhere that dissolves the walls of your house. Acid is harmful to tooth enamel. It causes demineralization, or it causes the calcium phosphate in the tooth enamel to dissolve, causing problems like holes to develop in our teeth, cavities. We can demonstrate this effect happening. I have a chicken bone here, and admittedly, it's not a tooth, but it's made up mostly, the compound which gives it its structure is calcium phosphate, the same ingredient that gives tooth enamel its structure. And I've got a jar of acid here. This is vinegar, just regular white vinegar. I'm going to put the bone into the vinegar, and I'm going to leave it for a few days, and we're going to check in a little bit later just to see what's happened to it. It's been about a week now. Let's take the bone out and see what has happened. Aha! It has gone all soft and floppy. The vinegar, the acid, has caused the bone to have some demineralization happen. The calcium phosphate has begun dissolving, and as it dissolves, it weakens the structure of the bone. No longer is it stiff, rigid, it is floppy. You can imagine what acid would do to our teeth. Sugar is a thing that the bacteria in our mouth will feed on. If there's sugar in our mouth, the bacteria in our mouth will feed on it, multiply, and in the process, create acid, which can be very problematic for our teeth. Good oral hygiene solves this problem. By flossing and brushing our teeth, we are removing the excess sugar and also killing some of that harmful bacteria. But why does my toothpaste tube state that it doesn't have sugar? Wouldn't that be a given? Toothpaste is made up of a range of ingredients. There are abrasives, there are detergents, there are things to stop it from drying out, and some of these ingredients taste bad. And if our toothpaste tastes bad, we are less likely to use it. You're not going to brush your teeth twice a day if the thing that you use to brush them tastes like dishwashing liquid. Sweeteners are added to toothpaste to make it more palatable and comfortable to be in our mouths, to be a nicer tasting thing. And these days, if you're in a country that has strict laws about what can and can't be in toothpaste, it's very unlikely that there are any toothpastes marketed as toothpastes that contain sugar. Rather, they'll have artificial sweeteners or other natural sweeteners that aren't sugar that will not contribute to the bacteria, which causes acid, which cause tooth decay. So there we go. Sugar is not typically found in toothpaste because sugar is an extreme cause of tooth decay. Not because the sugar eats away at our teeth, nor do the bacteria that eat the sugar eat away at our teeth, but the acid that the bacteria that feasts on the sugar left over in our mouth softens the tooth enamel, causing problems. So, ensure that you're flossing and brushing daily to avoid painful trips to the dentist, and thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something, and make sure you're following, that's pretty cool, to not miss any future interesting videos about things in our world which I find interesting, investigations that I like to go on, and perhaps dive a little deeper into everyday things. The world is full of wonder, and I appreciate you joining me to explore them. Thanks once again for watching. Take care, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.